boutique owner spit in my face and called me a diseased whale. Then her security guard kicked me in the stomach while I was 7 months pregnant. My name is Kaito, and this is how I lost everything in one afternoon. I was on the floor, the marble cold against my cheek, and I could taste blood in my mouth from where I'd bitten my tongue. My hands were on my belly, feeling for the baby, but he wasn't moving. "Please," I whispered up at the woman standing over me, her designer heel inches from my face. "Please, my baby." Yuki, the owner, crouched down so we were eye level. "You should have thought about your baby before you tried to contaminate my store." She stood back up and ground her heel into my hand. I felt bones crack. I screamed, "Get this thing out of my boutique," she told security. "Use the back exit. I don't want customers seeing this mess." The guard grabbed me by my hair, actually grabbed my hair, and dragged me across the floor. My pregnant belly scraped against the marble. My broken hand was useless, and I couldn't fight back. People were filming, at least 20 phones pointed at me, and no one helped. "Stop," I begged. "Please stop, my baby, please." He didn't stop. He dragged me through a storage room and threw me into the alley behind the building. I landed on my stomach. The pain was instant and blinding, something inside me tearing, and I felt warmth flooding between my legs. I was bleeding. The baby still wasn't moving. I tried to push myself up with my broken hand and screamed again from the pain. My phone was in my purse, which was somewhere back in that boutique, and I was alone in an alley bleeding with my baby dying inside me. I managed to crawl to the wall, my whole body shaking, and I saw my purse had been thrown out with me, contents scattered across the dirty alley ground. I grabbed my phone with my good hand, my vision blurring with tears, and called Rio, my husband. It rang 4 times before he answered. "I'm in a meeting, what?" he said. "I'm bleeding. The baby stopped moving. Please help me." I sobbed. "Jesus, Kaito, you're being hysterical again." He sighed. "You're fine." "I'm not fine. They threw me out. I fell. Something's wrong." "Then call an Uber to the hospital," he interrupted. "I'm closing $1 million deal. I can't leave for a panic attack." "This isn't a panic attack," I screamed. "It always is," he said. "Fix yourself up. I'll see you tonight." He hung up. I stared at my phone, at my husband's name disappearing, and I called 911 with my good hand. The operator talked to me while I bled, kept me conscious, and when the ambulance arrived, the paramedic took one look and his face went white. "Placental abruption. Fetal distress. We need to move," he said to his partner. They loaded me in, started in 4, and called Rio from my phone on speaker. "What now?" Rio answered, annoyed. "Mr. Yamada, your wife is being transported for emergency surgery. Both she and the baby are at risk," the paramedic said. "Is she conscious?" Rio asked. "I'm right here," I whispered. "See? She's fine," Rio said. "Can't you just give her fluids or something?" "I really can't leave." "Your wife could die," the paramedic said slowly. "But she's not dying right now, right?" Rio asked. "Just do whatever. I'll stop by later." He hung up again. The paramedic looked at me with pity, and I hated it. At the hospital, they rushed me to surgery, a doctor saying the baby had minutes, maybe less. "I'm only 7 months," I begged. "Then we pray she survives," she said, and they put me under. I woke up hollow, my stomach flat, and a nurse telling me I had a son. 4 pounds premature, in the NICU but breathing, she said. "You're lucky." I didn't feel lucky. "Where's my husband?" I asked. Her pause told me everything. He was called 3 hours ago. 3 hours since I'd given birth to his son, and he hadn't come. My phone had texts from him. "I'm stuck in a meeting, running long, baby's fine, right? Might come tomorrow." I was staring at those words when someone knocked on my door. A tall alpha walked in, expensive suit, carrying flowers. "Kaito? I'm Takashi Kurosawa," he said. "I own the building across from Lumiere. I saw everything from my office window." "You saw?" I whispered. "I have security footage of them assaulting you," he said. "I've already called the police." "No," I said, panic rising. "My husband will be angry. He'll say I'm causing problems. Your husband who isn't here? Takashi asked quietly. Before I could answer, Ryo walked in. Who the hell are you? He demanded, seeing Takashi. The one who called the police about your wife being assaulted, Takashi said calmly. Ryo's face went red. You did what? Do you know what this does to my image? Your wife nearly died, Takashi said. But she didn't, Ryo said, turning to me. See? You're fine. Stop being dramatic. The baby is in the NICU, I said weakly. But he's alive, Ryo said. Babies are resilient, he'll be fine. He's 2 months early, I said. Which happens, Ryo dismissed. Anyway, this is a mess. That video is going viral, you need to fix this. I was assaulted, I said. You made a scene, Ryo corrected. If you just called ahead, asked if they accommodated pregnant omegas, none of this would have happened. You told me to go there, I said. I told you to buy a dress, not get yourself attacked, he said. Takashi made a sound like a growl. He didn't get herself attacked. Who even are you? Ryo demanded. Takashi Kurosawa. I own Kurosawa Group, he said. And this hospital. Ryo went pale. The Kurosawa Group? Yes, and I paid for your wife's $50,000 surgery since your insurance denied it, Takashi said. I'll write you a check, Ryo said through his teeth. Don't bother, Takashi said. But you should leave. This is my wife's room, Ryo said. That I'm paying for, Takashi said. So no, it's mine. Ryo looked at me. Are you going to let him talk to me like this? I didn't know what to say. That's what I thought, Ryo said. This guy shows up playing hero and you just let him. He was here when you weren't, I said quietly. Because I was working, Ryo shouted. Someone has to pay for your life. Takashi paid for the surgery, I pointed out. Which is worse, Ryo said. Now you owe him, and we both know what he really wants. I want nothing, Takashi said coldly. All alphas want something, Ryo said. And my wife is too naive to see it. He grabbed his coat. I have another meeting. I'll be back tomorrow. What about the baby? I asked. I'll see him tomorrow too, Ryo said. Right now there's nothing I can do anyway. He left, and the room was silent except for machines beeping. I'm sorry you had to see that, I whispered to Takashi. I'm sorry you have to live it, he said. My phone buzzed. A news alert. Pregnant Omega assaulted at luxury boutique was trending, 20 million views, and the comments were brutal. He shouldn't have been there. Boutique has standards. Why do pregnant Omegas think they can go anywhere? But some defended me, and one comment had 50,000 likes. Find this Omega, we need to help him. Then another notification, an email from Ryo's lawyer. Divorce papers being filed, citing your reckless behavior and emotional instability. My hands started shaking. What is it? Takashi asked. I showed him and his face went deadly. He's divorcing you while you're in a hospital bed after giving birth, he said. Another email, this one with photos. Me and Takashi in the ambulance at the hospital, him holding my hand. They were edited to look intimate. Adultery cited as cause, the email said. Husband seeking full custody. Couldn't breathe. He's taking my baby, I gasped. Over my dead body, Takashi said. You don't understand, he has money, lawyers, I have nothing, I said, crying now. You have me, Takashi said. And I'm much richer. Why would you help me? I asked desperately. Because someone should have helped my mother, he said quietly. She was assaulted while pregnant 20 years ago. No one stood up for her, and it destroyed her. I'm sorry, I whispered. Don't be sorry, he said. Be angry, fight back. My door opened and 2 men in suits walked in with papers. Kaito Yamada, sign these, one said, dropping documents on my bed. What are they? I asked. Custody agreement, you're signing over parental rights, he said. No, I said. The video shows you can't protect a child, he said. Sign or a judge will do it for you. Get out, Takashi said, standing. Who are you? The lawyer asked. The owner of this hospital, Takashi said. And you're trespassing. They looked at each other. We'll be back with a court order. They left, and I was shaking so hard the bed was rattling. They're going to take him, I sobbed. They're going to take my baby. No, they're not, Takashi said firmly. Marry me. I stared at him. What? Marry me right now. A married couple has more rights than a single Omega, he said. That's insane, I said. It's strategy, he said. I'm offering protection, resources, a way to keep your son. Why would you do this? I asked. Because it's the right thing to do, he said simply. The door opened again, Rio walking back in. Forgot my... He stopped seeing us. What's going on? I'm marrying Takashi, I said, the words surprising me. Rio laughed. You just met him, and you just filed for divorce while I was unconscious, I said. His face hardened. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said, but I'm done being your wife. Fine, Rio said. I'm getting my son, and you're both going to pay for this. He stormed out and I looked at Takashi. Did I just agree to marry a stranger? I asked. Yes, he said. Do you want to take it back? I thought about my baby in the NICU, about Rio's threats, about having nowhere to go. No, I said. Let's do it. We got married in my hospital room 6 hours later. A judge Takashi knew, and Rio showed up with photographers to catch us in the act. This proves adultery, Rio said, cameras flashing. Judge will love this. We're divorced, I said, holding up the papers Takashi's lawyers had filed. As of an hour ago. Rio's smile disappeared. That's impossible. Emergency divorce citing domestic neglect and abandonment, Takashi said. Judge signed it 20 minutes ago. You can't do that without my consent, Rio said. Your wife nearly died. You didn't show up. That's legal grounds, Takashi's lawyer said, appearing behind him. And the hospital has recordings of you saying she was being dramatic while she hemorrhaged. Rio's face went purple. I'm getting my son. Our son, I corrected. And you're not touching him. We'll see what the court says, Rio said, then looked at the photographers. Make sure you get good shots. This is going to be worth millions. He left and I realized he'd turned this into a media circus on purpose. My phone exploded with notifications, the photos already online. Pregnant Omega marries billionaire hours after giving birth. Gold digger or true love? CEO's wife jumps from one alpha to another. The comments were vicious. He trapped another one. Using the baby to get money. Disgusting Omega. I turned my phone off, hands shaking. Ignore them, Takashi said gently. We have bigger problems. He was right, because the next morning Rio filed for emergency custody, claiming I was mentally unstable and Takashi was a dangerous influence. The hearing was set for 3 days later, and I was still in the hospital recovering. Can you walk? Takashi asked the morning of the hearing. Barely, I admitted, trying to stand and gasping at the pain. Then you're going in a wheelchair, he said, and before I could protest, I don't care how it looks, you just had surgery. The courthouse was surrounded by media, cameras shoving in our faces as Takashi pushed my wheelchair through. Kaito, did you cheat on your husband? Is the baby really Rio's? How much is Takashi paying you? I kept my head down, Takashi's hand on my shoulder. Inside, Rio was already there with 5 lawyers, all in matching suits. This is going to be a massacre, I whispered to Takashi. Let them try, he said. The judge walked in, older alpha, stern face. This is a custody hearing for baby boy Yamada, currently in NICU at Tokyo General, she said. Mr. Yamada, you're seeking full custody? Yes, Your Honor, Rio stood. My wife is clearly unstable. She married another man within hours of giving birth. After you filed for divorce, the judge said, looking at her papers. Which I was forced to do after discovering her affair, Rio said smoothly. There was no affair, I said. You married him the same day you met him, Rio said. If that's not suspicious, I don't know what is. Your Honor, my client married Mr. Kurosawa for protection, my lawyer said. Mr. Yamada abandoned his wife during a medical emergency. I was at work, Rio said. For 6 hours while she gave birth alone, my lawyer countered. I had responsibilities, Rio said. So did your wife, the judge said dryly. Like staying alive. Rio's lawyer stood. Your Honor, we have evidence that Mr. Kurosawa has been stalking my client's wife. Stalking, Takashi said. You just happened to have security cameras pointed at that boutique? Rio's lawyer asked. You just happened to be watching when she was assaulted? My office overlooks that street, Takashi said. I saw a pregnant Omega being attacked and called for help. Very convenient, the lawyer said. And then you paid for her surgery, stayed at the hospital and married her all within 12 hours. Because her husband wouldn't, Takashi said coldly. Your Honor, this is clearly a planned scheme, Rio's lawyer continued. Mr. Kurosawa wanted my client's wife, orchestrated the boutique incident. I orchestrated being thrown onto marble and kicked. I interrupted, my voice shaking with rage. The boutique owner, Yuki Tanaka, has given a statement, the lawyer said, pulling out papers. She claims you became aggressive when asked to leave. That's a lie, I said. She has witnesses, he said. 20 customers who saw you cause a scene. They saw me get assaulted, I said. That's your version, he said. But the witnesses say otherwise. I have video footage, Takashi said. Which could be edited, Rio's lawyer said. It's from multiple security cameras, Takashi said. Time-stamped, unedited. So you claim, the lawyer said. But you also claim you just happened to witness this. Just happened to help. Just happened to marry her. Your Honor, this is ridiculous. My lawyer stood. Mr. Kurosawa is not on trial here. No, but his motives are questionable, the judge said. Mr. Kurosawa, why did you marry this Omega? Takashi was quiet for a moment. Because someone should have saved my mother. The room went silent. 20 years ago, my mother was assaulted while pregnant, he continued. No one helped her. She lost the baby, and it destroyed her. His voice was raw. When I saw Kaito on that boutique floor, I saw her, and I couldn't let it happen again. So this is about your mother, not about him? The judge asked. It started that way, Takashi admitted. But then I met him, saw how he was being treated, and I wanted to help. By marrying him? The judge pressed. By giving him a way to keep his son, Takashi said. Your Honor, this proves it's a fake marriage. Rio's lawyer jumped in. He admitted it's not real. I admitted my motives, Takashi corrected. The marriage is legal, but not legitimate, the lawyer said. Which means the Omega is still a single parent, unstable, living with a stranger. I'm his husband, Takashi said. For 3 days, the lawyer said. That doesn't make you a parent. The judge looked at me. Mr. Yamada, she caught herself. Mr. Kurosawa, sorry, do you love your husband? My throat closed up. I don't know him well enough to love him. See, Rio said. It's fake. But I'm grateful to him, I continued. And I trust him more than I ever trusted Rio. That's not saying much, Rio muttered. Mr. Yamada, do you want custody of this baby? The judge asked Rio. Of course, Rio said. Why? She asked. Because he's my son, Rio said. You didn't show up when he was born, the judge said. I was working, Rio said again. For 6 hours, the judge repeated. While your wife nearly bled to death and your son was born 2 months early. I came as soon as I could, Rio said. 3 hours after the birth, the judge said, looking at her notes. And you stayed for 15 minutes. I had another meeting, Rio said defensively. More important than your newborn son? The judge asked. I'm a CEO, I have responsibilities, Rio said. So you've said, the judge said. Mr. Kurosawa, the Omega, where will you live? With me, Takashi said. I have a house with a full nursery already prepared. Already prepared? The judge's eyebrow rose. How? I had it done yesterday, Takashi said. Staff, nurses, everything a premature baby needs. In one day, Rio said. That's insane. That's money, Takashi said simply. The judge sat back. This is highly irregular. Your Honor, my client is clearly the better option, Rio's lawyer said. He's the biological father. He has a stable home, a successful career, and a history of neglect, my lawyer interrupted. The hospital has records of Mr. Yamada refusing to come during the emergency. I explained that, Rio said. You explained you had a meeting, the judge said, which you prioritized over your dying wife and unborn child. She wasn't dying, Rio said. She's always dramatic about medical things. She had an emergency C-section, the judge said flatly. That's not dramatic, that's life-threatening. But she survived, Rio said. So clearly it wasn't that serious. The judge's expression hardened. Mr. Yamada, I'm denying your petition for custody. What? Rio stood. You can't. I can and I am, she said. However, I'm also not granting full custody to Mr. Kurosawa, the Omega, either. My heart dropped. The baby will remain in NICU under hospital care until I see proof this marriage is legitimate, she continued. I'm ordering a home inspection, psychiatric evaluations for both parents, and will reconvene in 2 weeks. Your Honor, the baby could be released from NICU any day, my lawyer protested. Then he'll go to foster care until this is resolved, the judge said. No, I said, the word ripping out of me. Please, he needs me. He needs a stable environment, the judge said, not unkindly. And right now, I'm not convinced either of you can provide that. She banged her gavel and it was over. Rio was smiling. 2 weeks to prove it's real? You're screwed. He left, and I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. She's going to take my baby, I whispered. No, she's not, Takashi said. We have 2 weeks to make this marriage look real. How? I asked. We don't even know each other. Then we learn, he said simply. That night, in Takashi's massive house, I stood in the nursery he'd built and cried. Everything was perfect, expensive, ready for a baby that might never come home. Takashi found me there. We'll get him back. You heard the judge, I said. She thinks we're fake. Then we stop being fake, he said. I can't just fall in love with you in 2 weeks, I said. I'm not asking you to fall in love, he said. I'm asking you to let me help you. Why? I asked for the 100th time. Why do you care so much? Because I'm tired of watching Omegas suffer, he said quietly. My mother. You. How many more before someone says enough? His phone rang, and his face went dark looking at it. What? I asked. Yuki, the boutique owner. She's giving an interview, he said, turning on the TV. Yuki's face filled the screen, tears streaming. I'm the real victim here, she was saying. That Omega came into my boutique, threatened me, and when I asked him to leave, he attacked my security guard. That's a lie, I said. I have witnesses, Yuki continued on screen. 20 people saw him become violent. She's lying, I said louder. I was so traumatized. I had to close the boutique, Yuki sobbed. I've lost everything because of him. The interviewer. And now he's married to Takashi Kurosawa? Who fired me for defending myself, Yuki said. It's all connected. They planned this to destroy me. Turn it off, I said. But Takashi was already making a call. Release the full footage, he said to whoever answered. All of it, unedited now. He hung up. In 10 minutes, the world will see the truth. 10 minutes later, my phone exploded. The full security footage was everywhere, showing Yuki spitting on me, stepping on my hand, the guard dragging me by my hair. The comments shifted instantly. Oh my God, she's a monster. How could anyone do that to a pregnant person? Yuki should be in jail. But Rio posted too. Convenient that Takashi has this footage, almost like he planned it. And people believed him. This does seem set up. Why was he filming? The Omega is definitely in on it. I threw my phone across the room. They're never going to believe me, I said. Some will, Takashi said. Not enough, I said. Not the judge. A knock on the door, and Takashi's assistant entered. "Sir, there's a problem," she said. "The boutique customers who witnessed the assault. They're recanting their statements." "What?" I said. "They're saying the footage is edited, that it didn't happen that way," she said. "Mr. Yamada's lawyers got to them. He paid them off," Takashi said. "We can't prove it," she said. "So now it's his word against mine," I said. "And he's rich, connected, and I'm just my husband," Takashi interrupted. "And I'm richer and more connected. That doesn't matter if the judge thinks we're fake," I said. "Then we convince her we're not," he said. "How?" I asked desperately. He was quiet for a long moment. "By actually becoming real." I stared at him. "What does that mean?" "It means we stop pretending," he said. "We live together, eat together, learn each other, and in 2 weeks when she asks if we're really married, we can say yes and mean it." "That's insane," I said. "It's survival," he said. "What do you want more? To be right or to keep your son?" I hated that he was right. "Fine," I said. 2 weeks, we try." What I didn't know was that Rio was already planning his next move. The next morning, photos appeared online. Me and Takashi in separate bedrooms, taken through windows with long-range cameras. "Fake marriage exposed," the headline read. "They don't even sleep together." The judge called an emergency hearing. "Mr. Kurosawa, explain this," she said, showing the photos. "My husband just had surgery," Takashi said. "He needs space to recover." "Or you're not actually married," she said. "We are," I said. "Legally. But not practically," she said. "These photos suggest you're living as roommates, not spouses." "That's an invasion of privacy," Takashi's lawyer protested. "It's evidence," Rio's lawyer countered. "Of fraud." The judge looked at us. "I'm moving up the final hearing. 3 days from now, you better convince me this is real, or the baby goes to foster care while I investigate further." 3 days. We had 3 days to become a real married couple. "We're screwed," I said in the car. "We're adaptable," Takashi said. That night, he knocked on my bedroom door. "We need to share a room," he said, "in case there are more cameras." My stomach twisted. I'm not asking for that," he said quickly. "Just sleeping in the same room, separate beds if you want." "Why are you doing this?" I asked. "You could walk away. Let the judge figure it out. Save yourself." "I don't want to save myself," he said. "I want to save you." Something in my chest cracked. "Okay," I said quietly. Same room. That night I woke up screaming from a nightmare, reliving the boutique, and Takashi was there immediately. "You're safe," he said, his hands on my shoulders. "You're safe." I was crying, shaking, and he held me until I could breathe again. "Thank you," I whispered. "Always," he said. In the morning, paparazzi got photos of us at breakfast, Takashi's hand on mine. "Real or fake?" the headlines asked. 2 days until the hearing. The hospital called, the baby was improving, might be released soon. "To who?" I asked. "We don't have custody." "To whoever the judge decides," the nurse said gently. That afternoon, Rio released another statement. "I'm willing to co-parent with Kaito, but only if he leaves Takashi." It was a trap. If I said no, I looked selfish. If I said yes, I proved the marriage was fake. "What do I do?" I asked Takashi. "You tell the truth," he said. So I did. In a video I posted myself. "Rio abandoned me when I was dying," I said, looking at the camera. "He didn't come when our baby was born. He filed for divorce while I was unconscious. And now he wants to use our son as a weapon." My voice shook, but I kept going. "Takashi saved my life. He's been there every day. And yes, I married him fast. But I'd rather be with someone who showed up than someone who never did." I posted it on YouTube and it went viral. 20 million views in 2 hours. The comments were split. "He's right, Rio is trash. This is so manipulative. Team Takashi all the way. Gold digger trying to justify himself." The day before the hearing, someone leaked my medical records. My entire assault, the surgery, everything was online. Pregnant Omega's graphic injuries revealed, the article said, with photos I'd never wanted anyone to see. I was violated all over again. Takashi found me sobbing in the bathroom. They're never going to let this go, I said. I'm always going to be the Omega who got assaulted, who married for money, who can't take care of his own baby. No, Takashi said firmly. You're going to be the Omega who survived, who fought back, who refused to give up. I don't feel like a survivor, I whispered. That's because you're still in the battle, he said. But we're going to win, I promise you. The next morning, we walked into court together, his hand in mine. The judge looked exhausted. Last chance, she said. Convince me this is real. It's real, I said. Prove it, she said. I looked at Takashi and he nodded. Days ago I had nothing, I said. A husband who didn't love me. No money, no plan, and then I was assaulted and everything fell apart. My voice was steady now. Takashi didn't have to help me, he chose to, and every day since he's chosen me again. I continued. We got married fast, yes, but I trust him more than I ever trusted Rio, and that has to count for something. It counts for desperation, Rio's lawyer said. It counts for hope, I corrected. Hope that someone would finally choose me. The judge was quiet for a long time. I'm granting custody, she finally said. Couldn't breathe. To Mr. Kurosawa, the Omega, she continued. With supervised visitation for Mr. Yamada, once weekly. Rio exploded. This is insane. This is justice, the judge said. Your son will go home with his father who actually showed up. She banged her gavel and it was over. I'd won. We rushed to the hospital and they brought me my son for the first time. For pounds, tiny and perfect, and he looked up at me with dark eyes. Hi baby, I whispered. I'm your papa. Takashi stood beside me, his hand on my shoulder, and I knew this was real. We brought our son home to a house full of paparazzi, and Rio was waiting at the gate with his lawyers. I'm appealing, he said, blocking the driveway. Get out of the way, Takashi said. Our baby asleep in my arms. Not until we talk, Rio said, looking at me. Kaito, you know this is insane. Come back, we can fix this. There's nothing to fix, I said. I'm done. You're making a mistake, Rio said. He's using you. He's protecting me, I corrected. For now, Rio said. Wait until he gets bored. Takashi's hand tightened on my shoulder. Security, remove him. Guards appeared, and Rio was escorted off the property while screaming threats. Inside, I was shaking, my son clutched to my chest. He's not going to stop, I said. I know, Takashi said quietly. That night, Yuki gave another interview. I'm suing Takashi Kurosawa for defamation, she announced, and Kaito for assault. I never touched her, I said, watching the TV in horror. She's desperate, Takashi said. My lawyers are already on it. The next morning, Takashi's legal team filed countercharges. Assault, battery, discrimination, attempted murder. Attempted murder? I asked. You were pregnant. She kicked you. The baby almost died, Takashi said. That's attempted murder. Yuki was arrested 3 hours later, the footage playing on every news channel. She was screaming at the cameras. This is a setup. That Omega is a liar. But the evidence was overwhelming. Security footage, medical records, witness statements from the paramedics. Her trial was set for 6 weeks later, and her lawyer called us. Ms. Tanaka is willing to settle, he said. Drop the charges. She'll give a public apology. No, I said immediately. Kaito, Takashi started. No, I repeated. She doesn't get to apologize and walk away. She goes to trial. Takashi smiled. You heard him. The trial was brutal. Yuki's lawyer painted me as a manipulative Omega who'd seduced a billionaire. He went to that boutique specifically to cause a scene, the lawyer argued. My husband told me to go there, I said from the stand. Your ex-husband, the lawyer corrected. Who you're now divorced from. How convenient. I divorced him because he abandoned me, I said. Or because Mr. Kurosawa offered you more money, the lawyer suggested. Objection, my lawyer stood. Sustained, the judge said. Move on, counselor. The lawyer showed the edited photos. These show you living separately. I just had surgery, I said. These show you barely knew each other, the lawyer pressed. We're married now, I said. We're learning. After 3 weeks, the lawyer said skeptically. Then Takashi took the stand. Mr. Kurosawa, why did you marry this Omega? The prosecutor asked. Because I love him, Takashi said simply. The courtroom went silent. You love him? The prosecutor repeated. Yes, Takashi said, looking at me. I fell in love watching him fight for his son. Watching him refuse to give up even when everyone said he should. My throat closed up. You barely know him, the prosecutor said. I know he's brave, Takashi said. I know he's strong. I know he survived something that would have destroyed most people. That's very romantic, the prosecutor said dryly. But is it true? Every word, Takashi said. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all charges. Yuki was sentenced to 5 years, the boutique was permanently closed, and she was ordered to pay $2 million in damages. She was crying as they led her away. This isn't fair. Neither was kicking a pregnant Omega, the judge said coldly. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us. Kaito, how does it feel to win? I looked at the cameras. It feels like justice. What about Yuki's claims that you set her up? I was 7 months pregnant, I said. I couldn't set up a chair, let alone a conspiracy. People laughed, and I felt Takashi's hand slip into mine. That night, Ryo's appeal was denied. He had supervised visitation once a week, and the first visit was tomorrow. I don't want him near our baby, I said. Our baby, Takashi repeated. You said our. He is ours, I said quietly. You've been more of a father than Ryo ever was. I want to adopt him, Takashi said suddenly. Legally. My heart stopped. What? I want to be his father officially, Takashi said. If you'll let me. Yes, I said, crying now. Yes. Ryo's first visit was a disaster. He held the baby for 30 seconds before handing him back. He smells weird, Ryo said. He's a baby, the supervisor said. Whatever, I'm done, Ryo said, checking his phone. You have an hour, the supervisor said. I don't want an hour, Ryo said. I wanted custody for the image. Now that I don't have it, I don't care. He left after 5 minutes. The supervisor looked at me. I'll note this in my report. 3 weeks later, Ryo's lawyer called. Mr. Yamada is willing to sign away parental rights, he said. Why? I asked suspiciously. He's getting remarried. His new fiancée doesn't want the complication, the lawyer said bluntly. His son is a complication? I asked, rage building. His words, not mine, the lawyer said. Will you accept? I looked at Takashi holding our baby, singing softly in Japanese. Yes, I said. On one condition. What? The lawyer asked. He never contacts us again. No social media, no interviews, nothing. I said. Done, the lawyer said. The papers were signed the next day, and just like that, Ryo was gone. How do you feel? Takashi asked that night. Free, I said honestly. Good, he said, and then, I have something for you. He handed me papers. Adoption decree, officially making Takashi our son's father. It's done, I asked, crying again. It's done, he confirmed. He's ours. I kissed him, and this time it wasn't for show, wasn't for cameras. It was real. 6 months later, we were at the grand opening of the Kaito Kurosawa Foundation, a support center for Omegas facing discrimination, with free legal services, medical care, and housing, built in the building that used to house Lumiere Boutique. This is where it all started, Takashi said, his arm around me. This is where it ended, I corrected, and where something new begins. The press conference was packed. Mr. Kurosawa, what inspired this foundation? a reporter asked. My husband, I said, looking at Takashi. He showed me that trauma doesn't have to define you. It can transform you. And what would you say to Omegas going through something similar? Another reporter asked. Fight, I said firmly. Fight for yourself. Fight for your family. And don't let anyone tell you you're not worth saving. Applause filled the room. That night, at home, our son was crawling for the first time. Look at him go, Takashi said, following him with his phone. He's so fast. I laughed. The baby crawled straight to me, grabbed my leg, and looked up with a gummy smile. Papa, he babbled, his first word. I started crying, scooped him up. Yes, baby, I'm Papa. What about me? Takashi asked. The baby looked at him. Dada. Perfect, Takashi said, voice thick. We sat there on the floor, the three of us, and I thought about the Omega who'd been thrown onto marble a year ago. She wouldn't recognize me now. Happy, safe, loved. Thank you, I said to Takashi. For what? He asked. For showing up, I said simply. Always, he promised. 1 year later, we stood in the same courthouse where we'd fought for custody. This time for our second baby's adoption. A little girl we'd found through the foundation. 3 years old. Her Omega parents had died in an accident, and she had nowhere to go. She needs us, I told Takashi. Then she's ours, he'd said without hesitation. The judge, the same one from before, smiled at us. I remember you too, she said. You've come a long way. We had to, I said. Approved, she said, signing the papers. Congratulations on your daughter. Our son, now 2, held his new sister's hand. Sister, he said proudly. Brother, she repeated, shy but smiling. That night, tucking both kids into bed, I found Takashi in our room. I love you, I said. He looked up, surprised. You've never said that before. I know, I said. I was scared. Of what? He asked gently. That it wasn't real, that I was just grateful, I said. But it's real, I love you. He pulled me close. I love you too. I know, I said, smiling. You've shown me every day. 3 years after that, we were at another gala. The same one Rio had uninvited me from. This time I was the guest of honor. Omega Advocate of the Year, the announcement said. I stood at the podium, looking at the crowd of people who'd once looked away while I suffered. 5 years ago, I was thrown onto the floor of a boutique and left to bleed, I said. People filmed it instead of helping, and I thought that was how my story would end. But it didn't end. It transformed, I continued. Because one person decided to help. I looked at Takashi in the front row. One person decided I was worth saving, and that changed everything, I said. So to anyone watching who feels worthless, who thinks no one cares, I'm here to tell you that you matter. Your life matters, your story matters, and there are people who will fight for you, I said. You just have to let them in. The applause was deafening. After the ceremony, someone approached me. Mr. Kurosawa? I'm Yuki's sister. I tensed. What do you want? To apologize, she said. For what she did. For not speaking up sooner. You don't need to apologize for her, I said. I do, she insisted. Because I was there that day, I saw it happen and I said nothing. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Because Yuki got out of prison last month, she said. And she's still saying you lied. I don't care what she says, I said. She's planning something, the sister said. She's angry, broke, and blames you for everything. Let her come, Takashi said, appearing beside me. We'll be ready. But Yuki never came. 3 days later, she was arrested again for violating her parole by contacting me online. Obsessed Omega hater arrested again, the headlines said. She was sent back to prison for another 2 years. It's really over, I said. It's really over, Takashi confirmed. 5 years after the boutique, I stood in front of it again. Now the Kaito Kurosawa Foundation headquarters. This is where I fell. I told my kids, now 5 and 7. Daddy fell? My daughter asked, concerned. A long time ago, I said. But Dada caught me. Dada always catches, my son said confidently. He does, I agreed, taking Takashi's hand. Inside, the foundation had helped over 10,000 omegas. You're changing the world, Takashi said. We're changing the world, I corrected. That night, our kids asleep, Takashi and I sat in the garden. Do you ever regret it? He asked. Marrying a stranger? Every day, I said, and when his face fell I added, I regret that I didn't meet you sooner. He laughed, pulled me close. You're terrible. You love it, I said. I love you, he corrected. I know, I said, and I love you too. We sat there watching the stars, and I thought about the Omega who'd had $23 and no hope. She'd never believed this was possible. But it was. All of it. The end.